And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Thank you once again for tuning in to After Hours with PlayBack Gaming. I'm iDizzy81, per usual. We're missing a couple of individuals. Both of them had some things that they needed to handle and take care of, but I do have Panda with me here still. If you want to say something, Panda.
I'm back.
How have you been today?
I've been crazy busy today.
Crazy busy. I know that you just started I wouldn't call it a new job, but a new position in the job that you're at and everything, which is awesome to see people moving up. But aside from that, and aside from Panda, we have a mysterious person here with us, somebody that a lot of people know, and I've been friends with for a couple of years now and everything. And I'll go ahead and let Mr. Anchorman V introduce himself.
Help, help, I'm being held here against my will. I don't know where I am. It's dark. Is this a multiverse? Where am I?
Right. And
No.
Anchor, you yourself, you host quite a few other things as well. Would you go ahead and talk and share about those and everything, please?
Oh, sure. My name is Anchorman V2. You can find me on Twitter and all the rest of that crap. I am the creative director for the Inner Circle Network. I have a podcast called the Multiverse Podcast where we cover gaming, entertainment, comics, movies, all that kind of stuff on Monday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We also do a show on Thursdays called Tick Podcast. Don't know if you heard of it. It's a little Xbox podcast. It's pretty cool. We do that show, and it's a fun time. We do that one around 10, 11 o'clock, somewhere in that range on Thursday nights. You'll be surprised how many people actually come out at midnight, which is kind of creepy. But yeah, we have a couple of the shows that we end up doing. But yeah, I'm just glad to be invited to the show.
Awesome. We're super excited to have you here and everything, especially with all the rest of them popping out and everything. So what's everybody been playing? Of course, I've been playing the usual. My Ark Survival Evolve. We just got done with a pretty large war. I've been sharing a lot of the clips over to the clubs that I'm in. I've shared it over to, speaking of, to Tick. I've shared it over to, of course, the PBG, as well as the Iron Lords podcast. And if you have not joined any of those Xbox clubs, be sure to pop in there, join them. A lot of things going on with those and everything. It's nice to get those communities popping and everything. But what have you guys been playing?
Lately, I've been playing Grow Up, which is a weird little sequel to a game called Grow Home. So it was that weird, the Red Robot game that Ubisoft keeps showing off.
Mm-hmm.
I was very surprised. I thought the game was garbage first little bit. It was I would call it a walking simulator, but not in the terminology of you're walking around picking up clues. More the terminology of you're trying to remember how to walk. Because the physics is kind of wonky, but once you get going, it's a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I actually I tried that out because they got it. Was it Games with Gold right now? It's not my cup of tea, but I wanted to give it a go. Try it out, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of because I do agree with you learn to walk and everything because as you progress, you learn more abilities that you're able to do and everything, and what certain things. It's like a learning game. Almost.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. Like, because I was like kind of like walking all over the place and just kind of like waving and everything at first and everything, and then you kind of get your the training wheels and the training wheels start to fall off, and then you're able to move from there. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's a blast. Like just climbing up really tall structures and there's just jumping off and like flying around the area. It's so much fun. I've really enjoyed this game.
Now, have you splatted yourself yet?
I believe so. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I've
made that mistake a couple of times. Yeah, I noticed you can't swim. It's almost like it was a Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption. You get in the water, you're dead. But yeah, I think my mistake was I would get really, really high, and I would try to climb over things, and I've noticed if you don't have the camera at the proper angle, it doesn't read properly. So I wouldn't adjust the camera so that I would move to the right position, and I'd find myself falling and falling and falling. And once you get pretty high up there, you know, you're kind of like falling forever. And I don't have like a fear of heights, but man, the adrenaline that you get whenever you're dropping down to the ground is kind of unreal.
Yeah, it really is a blast. It's a lot of fun.
And what about you, Panda? Have you played it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, what a bum.
I know.
What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
I've been playing, recently I played Overwatch, but the most recent game that I finished, I saw Anchorman's post and I had to get it. Because you know how I am with games like this, but I just finished What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh, that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I was curious after seeing some of your tweets, and sure enough, I had tears rolling down my face too, so I totally get it.
Yep. That game, oh my gosh. We actually just did an interview with Ian Dallas, the creative director for that game, over on Multiverse, and I had not played Edith Finch before that interview. And so I was like, when they tried talking about it, I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. I was totally lost. But oh my gosh, that game, it ruined me. Like
the feels,
it's too much. But like, there's some levels in there that like it's one of those games that it brings the medium of video gaming to a whole nother level, where it's like finally we've gotten here, we've arrived.
Yeah, I caught myself like getting into certain areas and be like, oh, and then immediately just like being dead inside.
It's just, oh my gosh. What was the one that made me cry was what was that level? The one with the baby.
Gregory.
Oh my god. And then Lewis, but Lewis was like the pièce de résistance of how gaming can get to that level. Now, the game is, I think, too expensive for what it is. It's 2-hour long game, barely any replayability. You can 100% this game in 2 hours and 30 minutes.
I mean, personally, I feel like the game, like I would have. It told a lot of stories, so I feel like the price, in my opinion, was pretty fair. I kind of understand where you're coming from, though, because it finished so quick. But Blackwood Crossing was also a game that finished really quick, but I loved that game. Mm-hmm. That is such a good game. And that game gets you all caught up in the feels, too. So if you want another game that's like that, Blackwood Crossing is really good.
All right, check that one out.
Yeah, I saw Anchor's tweet about it and everything, and I've been curious about the game because I've seen a couple of people talk about it and everything, and then I saw Anchorman post it, and then I had to throw it out the window because Anchor's also the person that didn't get the feels whenever he played Life is Strange. So I was like, oh yeah, this guy has no soul.
But here's my thing: when I didn't know Life is Strange was a time travel game, and I follow very firm rules of time travel. Do not screw with time. And I knew what was going to happen as soon as you screw with time the very first time. I was like, yep, this is going to happen. We got to reverse this.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because whenever I was first thinking about that, I was like, why are you overusing this? This is not a good idea.
You don't mess with time.
So we would agree that she would be a terrible X-Men.
Yes, pretty much.
Right. Because probably she'd be pretty selfish. She'd probably only be trying to save Chloe as it is, anyways. But we digress. Yeah, I've been thinking about picking that one up. I keep seeing people talk about it and everything, and now the more the people talk about it, the more I'm like, I'm getting a little bit curious and everything. But
play it. I would say for most people, $10 is that perfect thing. Pay what you pay. Pay what you would pay to go to a movie theater. Then you will feel happy with your purchase. You will feel happy.
So maybe at the first sale, correct?
First sale that you see it, get it. No hesitation.
Okay. Okay,
No matter what they put it on sale for, just get it.
I'll definitely do that. I know that as far as sales go, for the longest time, and I know that you were talking about Witcher 3 before we started the podcast and everything. For the longest time, I've always wanted to pick up Witcher 3, but of course, I've been so busy, with my main hardcore game that I play, that I'm like, I don't see myself feasibly being able to pull time away enough to go play Witcher 3, but I still wanted to get it. I'm like, I'm gonna find time. I'm gonna set it aside. I'm actually gonna take care of it and everything. And in recent months, I've actually found a way to kind of like balance it where I can play something else and not have to worry about what's going on over in the other world, right? So I ended up picking up Witcher 3. My plan is, though, I do plan on getting an Xbox One X, and if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the games that's going to get one of those enhancements. So got it for real cheap. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait to actually play the game until I get my One X and then see, how it goes from there and everything. But I've seen a lot of the photos that you've been sharing as well, and it just looks like a lot of fun.
I'd agree with you normally, but for this one, I would argue actually play the prologue first. I would argue play the prologue because the way this game is set up, it's really like 3 different games. Like if you could finish each one and then feel like it's a natural stopping point. Each act in the game, like it feels like there's so much content in that game. There really is. And so I would play the prologue first, just so you see what the base game looks like, and then when you get your X, you could actually see it.
Right. Well, I think that my only concern is if I enjoy it, I won't want to put it down. So if I enjoy the prologue, I might break that whole thing. I'm one of those that I very rarely will I play a game twice. I think even GTA 5, I really enjoyed GTA 5, and I think that I've only gone about halfway through after I picked it up back on the Xbox One. And I don't want to cause myself to get in a position where I'm going to play the game, and then I'm like, okay, I got to finish this because I enjoy it that much.
Have you played any Witcher game before?
I have played the second one. I haven't gotten very far because that one's hard as shit.
Yeah, then I think you'll be fine because that game is one of those games where I had never played a Witcher game prior to that event. It was completely new to me, and with that one in particular, I would say that's a hard one to say. I would actually probably say the first 10 hours or so, if you don't know what the hell is going on, you are totally lost. Because it requires a lot of foreknowledge of how the world's organized and what's been happening and all that kind of stuff. So I would venture to say go ahead and play the first little bit just so you get past that 10-hour period. Now, if you just stay in the prologue area, there's plenty of content to do that with.
But that's 10 hours. Is it 10 hours of boredom or is it 10 hours of
10 hours of fun.
10 hours of fun? See,
no, it's you just trying to figure out what's going on. Like, 'cause at least politically. Once you understand what's going on politically in the world, everything just kind of starts clicking. And it gets a lot better from there.
Okay. Well, snaps. One thing that also kind of finished recently and everything was Comic-Con. Did anybody see anything that kind of stuck out to them over this last Comic-Con?
Oh, there's tons of things that happened at Comic-Con.
Well, you go ahead and enlighten me, sir, because I think that probably the coolest thing that I saw was the poster that they were giving out to the Infinity War trailer, or not the trailer, just the movie itself and everything. Did anybody happen to see the little the back of the head while trying to rip off and see the trailer itself?
You mean Punished Snake? I mean Captain America?
Right? Tell me he didn't look kind of crazy.
It's his Nomad stage, so I'm happy with it. Like I'll watch. It'll be fun. So there's a lot of things that happened at Comic-Con this year. There's really quite a bit. We're playing a place you want to start with, or
start anywhere. Panda, did you see anything that stuck out to you? I know you've been
I
following.
I've actually been super busy, so I haven't been able to really look at much.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? What stuck
I
out to
got to
you?
play Overwatch for like an hour, and then that's it.
What was probably the biggest thing that you saw over this entire thing, Anchor?
Picking one.
If
Jeez.
you had to pick one thing.
I would probably still say the Avengers Infinity War because they've tried and tried again to hide the trailer in Disney, get over yourself. We're going to watch it. It's gonna happen. Like just get over that fact and just release the trailer. Just release the trailer already.
What was the trailer? Was that at D23 that was
It was a
released, or was it?
D23. It was a
Okay,
D23,
so
but nobody recorded it because Disney was
okay.
real hard on them. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty open. Like it was a
I
lot of
wonder
fun.
if,
I mean,
if in the future what they'll end up doing is like in order to have admission to this, instead of charging you for tickets, you're going to hand us your cell phones.
would people even do that?
That is a good question. It's like, you know that there's got to be somebody there with their little sneak phone. Like, yeah, sure, go ahead, have this one, and they
Buy a
walk in with
cheap
their
phone.
actual phone.
Buy a
Right?
cheap flip phone. This is my phone.
It's like, sir, we know better than this. Pat them down. They're going to start treating it like a TSA.
I have an iPhone. I have an iTouch. I have an iPod 4. So I don't know what you're talking about. This is not a phone.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree. I think that the thing that really stuck out was definitely the Avengers. I mean, aside from that, they gave another trailer for Ragnarok. Now, is it just me, or after seeing the trailer, does the trailer itself not spoil kind of things that happen in Ragnarok for you? I mean, if you're not somebody who avidly reads the comics and knows what's going to happen.
I don't know. Marvel has had a really good track record with their trailers. They don't really screw them up. Like so I would not say it's a spoilery thing. I mean, because they always surprise us anyway. But you get the gist that Hulk's a gladiator. That's all you need to know.
Right? Yeah, I think that was probably my only concern at the beginning of the Infinity War. The person you see who they're waking up, you're like, huh? They have a movie that's coming out that's due out beforehand. I wonder how that ends. I think that was probably the only thing that kind of like I was like, for me it was cringeworthy, but I can see that. I can, they've done pretty good and everything, and that's actually hard for me to say because I am a believer that X-Men are still on top. To me, they always will be, and I like what they're doing over there right now. Even though some things look like they're in a little bit disarray. Of course, I still got that that bet going on with Lord Cognito. Shout out to Lord Cognito for the Fantastic Four.
Ooh.
Somebody has
They heard your heresy. They heard your heresy. They're like, "What is this nonsense?"
I'm sorry. Somebody. My neighbor is banging on the wall.
I know how that is. I definitely know how that is. But yeah, we of course we have that thing going on with the Fantastic Four because it just to me it seems like that there's a lot of signs that are pointing that Fox really doesn't know what they're doing with the Fantastic Four, which really sucks for them because it's a really good franchise and obviously they're not going to give it up. My whole thing was we see what they're doing with Spider-Man over there, and essentially allowing the MCU to have that creative control, so to speak, even though that they technically don't. But they're going with the flow. And I really feel that Fox, they have something going good with the X-Men, and they have something going good with Deadpool, and we know that they have a couple of other things coming out, but obviously the Fantastic Four is a very sore spot for them.
The dumpster fire.
They should. It really is, and not a good one either. It's a really bad one. And of course, our bet is, I really believe that they're going to end up having to bow down within the year, saying like, "Hey, we don't want to give this up, but if y'all need to use the properties and everything, we get that. Here, let's make some deals, because they've been known to make some deals recently and everything. So I think that there's a good chance.
We know so far they announced there's a Doctor Doom movie in the works, so they'll keep the license. I hope that's just an idle threat. I really hope it is. But here's the first little thing that I find interesting. Well, they announced something interesting. They announced that Captain Marvel will be in the... she'll have her own movie, and it's going to be set in the 90s, before the events of really the Avengers and all that kind of stuff. Now, the funny thing about it, though, is that this particular thing, her enemies are going to be the Skrulls.
Right, which is a Fantastic Four.
Which is technically a Fantastic Four property. Like that, it started in Fantastic Four. I think it was issue 2, and it built off from there. Now, the cool thing about it that'll be interesting to see is, like, supposedly the deal is, all right, Skrulls are in the MCU, but not certain Skrulls. Like, they can't have the Super Skrull.
Correct.
And it's like, that feels like a stretch. Like, that feels like a real stretch. And, like, they look like Super Skrulls. That's the thing. Like, I mean, they look like regular Skrulls. They don't look like some weird, like, they don't look like the Kree. They look kind of slightly off. But, you know, that's how it is now. So, I mean, hey, there's an option. It could happen.
I mean, I just don't see that. Why would they bring them in when they know that with the property? Now, they have the ability to use this. You know, I was kind of like talking and picking brains with Frodo, one of our good friends. And, you know, he kind of explained, well, they don't have the rights to the race, but there's certain ones that they can't use because those are, you know, specific characters, which is kind of odd because like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver for the MCU, they couldn't be mutants, so they couldn't be Magneto's children. And Disney, you know, and Marvel, you know, alike, they kind of had to like swap things up to kind of change their history and everything. So, you know, that's already, you know, with that one. So it's just kind of odd that, you know, that this race is really, really derivative of the Fantastic Four, but we're going to make them a central part of one of the IPs that we have coming out. It's kind of weird that they would just do that without having something else at play. Maybe on behalf of maybe some deals are going on that we don't know. You know, because I know that they announced the Doctor Doom thing, but they haven't said too much of it. They haven't told you like, okay, well, we're doing this and this is the storyline and this is how we're going. Whereas maybe they actually have a deal going on with it that we might see a little bit more. So who knows? Who knows? Anything else from Comic-Con that anybody saw?
It was Ready Player One is getting a movie.
Steven Spielberg, correct?
Yeah. It looks like copyright the movie. like if any YouTuber were to ever make this, it would be so much copyright infringement. Like, it's overkill. It's like every property from the last 30 years is in this trailer. Like, it's like Back to the Future, Iron Giant, Little Lord of the Rings. Like, everything is in there. It's overkill, man. It's overkill. I understand it's a book people like, but jeez. It's just overkill to me.
Right. I think aside from that, I mean, we do know that a bunch of X-Men or Fox derivative comic films are coming, or not films, I should say TV shows. Some look pretty good. Have you watched Legion at all?
Nope.
I hear that it's
I
good.
do not watch Marvel TV unless it's Netflix. I watch Netflix.
Okay, so you don't even do what is that? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Nope, don't watch it.
Okay, I'm right there with you. I keep hearing that they're good,
it.
but I just don't do it.
Yeah, I've heard that it's really that Legion is really good. I haven't heard much of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I've heard a lot about Legion.
Right. Yeah, I just haven't brought myself to do it. Like, I hear really good things about them, but I'm just like, I've already got enough going on over here. Yeah, I agree with Anchor about this. I got enough going on with Netflix to keep me occupied that I can't start another show, especially one that's running that I have to wait week after week after week. That's already bad enough with Game of Thrones. I even stopped watching Walking Dead. I was just like, fuck it, I'll just wait till it comes on Netflix and then watch it. So, yeah, so there's another event coming up here soon. If anybody wasn't aware, there's this little event over in Europe, and was it Cologne, Germany?
Yep, Cologne. Doesn't smell that
Cologne,
good, though.
Germany. I would imagine. I imagine it's pretty stinky. It's called Gamescom. Would either of you figure that Gamescom is right around the corner right now?
It's been quiet. It's been real quiet.
It has been like crazy quiet. It definitely, if last year was, it was already starting to go a little bit quiet last year, but it was still, you still knew when it was coming around and what was going on and everything. I have not heard much of a pin drop about Gamescom this year. What is going on with Gamescom? Is this something that we can finally give up on?
Go ahead, Panda.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything on anything, so I have no clue.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this year has definitely been quiet. Like what was it? Was it last year or the year before? Like they made a big deal out of Gamescom. Like Gamescom was like a real event. It was like, oh wow, we had a press conference and everything.
Mm-hmm. Right, and it's eerily. It's like eerily quiet. Like I feel like that it's not even going on, and we just don't realize it. And like, there's been multiple times where I kind of like had to go back and look. It's like, has it already gone? And I just didn't realize it went on because I know that myself. I can pull myself away from the internet for days at a time and everything before I pop back on. I was like, clearly I'm missing something, but I pop back on, and sure enough, it hasn't passed by. I know that Paris Game Show is it called Paris Game Show? Do we know?
Games Week, something like that. I think it's Paris Games Week.
Paris Games Week. I know that one's been stepping up quite a bit, but I didn't expect it to be taking that much of a chunk because I know that it happens roughly around the same time. I've heard more about what's happening with the Tokyo Game Show than I have heard about Gamescom for 2017.
Actually,
that is crazy to me. That is crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I've been seeing a lot about that too, and I remember last year. I didn't go to E3 last year. I went this year, but I remember seeing a lot of E3, and then Gamescom was right there with almost just as many posts as E3 had.
Right, and let's see, just so we have the dates for Gamescom, so nobody misses this. Which this is a very weird time for this to be going on. August 23rd through, it looks like, August 26th. So 4 days in a row. Starts on a Wednesday. It'll end on a Saturday. Also that week is QuakeCon, which for Panda and myself, we live, in the city that hosts it. We live in in that area.
Yeah, I got to make a pilgrimage to get down there.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know that over here, we're going to hear more about this, which this year they actually changed the venue, which I am super, super excited that they changed the venue because where it had been hosted before sucked. It was in the middle of the city. It was at a Hilton hotel. And I mean, there was nothing wrong with the Hilton hotel. It's just the location that it was at and with all the traffic that you got to deal with in that location. And there's so many people in such a tight space. They had to rent out to like other locations. Bethesda, like they would constantly, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing, I don't like to disrespect the city or anything, but where the House of Blues is, it's not in a very good neighborhood. I'll leave it at that. And that's where they would host it out of, and it's a pretty dangerous, location, especially that late at night and everybody's drinking and having a good time and, just a crazy mess. But they changed it to a new location. It's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, it's at a Great Wolf Lodge this year. Or no. It's not the Great Wolf Lodge. It's right next door. It's at a place called the Gaylord, which is a very ritzy area of Grapevine, Texas. And in Grapevine, Texas, they have a lot of
Super
vineyards,
close.
and they got a lot of party spots that are in that area, and it's not congested. So I'm actually super excited about Gamescom this year. Or not Gamescom, I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm super excited about QuakeCon this year.
the congestion has gotten pretty bad in the area, but it's nothing compared to the city.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
The city is absolutely insane, and every con that ever happens in the city is either at the Sheraton or at the Hilton, which has horrendous parking. The only way that you can really get there is if you go by train and you park at a train station. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah, that really is the way to travel. But for us, we're going to hear a lot more about QuakeCon than we will hear about Gamescom. And to me, it's a little bit concerning, I guess, in a way, because I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? And I keep seeing some media sites that are posting saying, like, this could be this year's biggest QuakeCon yet. Like, obviously, because it's the only year that we'll have a 2017. But what the hell is going on there? Like, and I see a lot of people on Twitter that, we talk about, the Xbox One X or Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3 is probably one of the biggest ones. I keep seeing this repeatedly. It's like, oh, well, we'll just have to wait for footage. It's going to be a Gamescom. It's going to be a Gamescom. It's going to be a Gamescom. I'm like, is there even going to be Gamescom? Because I haven't heard shit. Like, we're about a month away, and it feels like it's like just being ignored. Like, yeah, it'll be, people will be there, but don't worry about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just my take.
I don't know. Gamescom has been pretty quiet. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It really. I remember one time I even thought to myself, like, wow, like this is an opportunity. Like they could dominate if they wanted to. Like, because Gamescom is the biggest gaming convention in the world. That is not a lie. That is totally legit.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It
They've been
is
open.
huge. They have so many people who go there. It's just right now. I don't know why people are pulling out. I don't know why though. I really don't.
No telling, man. No telling. But you're right. It's been it is the largest gaming centric convention in the world, and that to not have a peep and everything. They've been open. Like, this year is the first year that E3 open to the public, right?
Yep.
Gamescom has been open to the public, which hopefully, from Panda's experience at E3, hopefully it runs a lot better and smoother than what this year's E3. Hopefully they get better with that.
Yes, please.
So it's just, please, somebody tell us something. What is going on with Gamescom? Anybody can tell us one little thing. Something that's true. Don't make something up. Just let us know. Yes, we get it. People are going to be there, but who? What are they going to show?
I believe Microsoft's doing a little conference. Now, it's not like full-blown Phil Spencer conference, but I think Graham Boyd's taking the helm for this one. I remember reading this like maybe a couple weeks ago, like that they were doing a keynote little thing. Now, I don't think it'll be something like E3 on stage, hundreds of people watching. They might pull like you remember Activision in 2014, where they were doing like hey, we got 20 people in the room, be excited. So they might be something like that, but I can't imagine anything crazier than that though.
Right. Let's kind of like segue from that. We'll kind of head into what our main topic today is pretty much about, and it's in the title of the description. Shout out to Kofi. Sorry.
Coffee.
Shout out to Coffee because it keeps me up at night. But a shout out to Kofi. He had a poll recently that kind of like made me think a little bit about this. And essentially what it was asking was, are programs like Play Anywhere, is it beneficial or is it something that hurts? Now, this could be directed towards the company. It could be directed towards, the consumer, whichever way you kind of want to take it and everything. And to me, of course, like my initial instinct is like, well, no, I love, Play Anywhere and everything. But I started thinking about like other things that are along with it because, they might be doing that over here at Microsoft, but we do also know that over for PlayStation, they are doing the PSNow as a service that allows people to play on the PC now PlayStation games, and some of them are what you would call the PlayStation exclusives. And depending on who you're talking to and how they're feeling that day, it's either an exclusive or it's not an exclusive, whether or not it's on the PC or not. So I guess my question is, do we think that services like these, does it hurt or does it help? And why is it that you feel the way that it is? If I would start, I would say, to me, like whenever I look at something like Play Anywhere, I get the reasoning that some people are like, oh, well, this is going to hurt because now you're going to take all of your exclusives and you're going to put it on the PC and this and that. Which, of course, in my mindset, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, well, they wanted to make it a Windows 10 ecosystem, which I get, and now the Xbox is part of the Windows 10 ecosystem. So technically, it's still a Windows exclusive, maybe not an Xbox exclusive, but it's still a Windows exclusive. So you still have to run Windows. You can't go jump on an Apple machine and go play this unless you have Windows on there, bootlegged or not. But aside from that, I like the ability that sometimes I can't be in the bedroom because my son's sleeping, and that's where we'll keep the Xbox, right? But what it would allow me to do is I could just jump over to my PC. If I don't feel like streaming, I could just boot it up from my PC if I have it installed, and I can pick up and play and go and as I want to. So to me, I see a huge benefit as a parent to give me the ability to play the game wherever I'm sitting at, whether it's at my PC or if it's on my Xbox. And of course, I think that Surface tablets are Surface tablets part of this? Does anyone know?
I think so. Technically, I look at their mantra in terms of Minecraft. Okay. Like where are they putting Minecraft and where are they trying to do crossplay with?
Okay. Yeah, so I like whichever format that you decide to play it on. I know that you can also stream it as well and everything. So to me, I see the bigger benefit for me as a consumer and everything. And I see a lot of people they're looking at the negative aspect now. Oh, well, now you're taking away that exclusiveness, but how is this really actually hurting the company? Because you got to make a purchase. You got to make a purchase, right? Yes, not everybody's going to buy an Xbox, and maybe it does help. It doesn't help the Xbox brand as much as it would, go the other way. But isn't like having good faith and doing something good for your community better, and isn't a longer lasting impression than saying, hey, we got this really cool game, but the only way that you could buy this is to spend $400, $500 in order to play it, which is currently the circumstances what we're at now. Maybe that's just my way of thinking. I don't know if one of y'all want to put your insight on what you think of it.
I'll let Panda go first on this one before I get into my stuff.
I mean, I think that it doesn't necessarily hurt them. I agree with Dizzy. I mean, there's people who play on both PC and consoles. So for me personally, I'll play it on a console when I'm at home. If I need to bring my computer anywhere, I can play it on my computer, and that's what I really like about it.
All right.
But I mean, I feel like it's not going to hurt them because if you buy it on the console, they've already gotten their their profit from it. And then it's even better that you can go back and you can play it on the PC. And not only can you play it on the PC, but you can also have all your saves on the PC. So your progress is all on there.
Right. Which is a very awesome feature.
Yes.
I
What
mean,
about you, Hunter?
when it comes to this topic, I don't know, honestly, because in one regard, as a gamer, I think it's fine. It's more options. It's cross-buy. I mean, other platforms have done cross-buy, but it's so weird because now we're talking about like drastically different systems. Like when PlayStation was doing cross-buy with like the PlayStation 3 and the Vita, did that make the PlayStation 3 weaker? Like, no, not really. But at the same time, it is kind of iffy though. Like, when does it hurt your brand? Is the question,
Right.
and it is iffy. And I personally, I don't think it does if you have all the platforms anyway. It's just when you're trying to make the argument of, hey, you should get this platform. It makes it harder for you to say, hey, I already got a beastly PC. Do I need to buy an Xbox? Well, not really. So that's where it's a hard argument to make. That's kind of where I sit on it, at least.
Okay.
Other than that, I think the practice itself is fine.
So nobody's in favor of completely demolishing or abolishing, I should say.
I think there's a way to do it. I think there's a way to do it.
What would you do? What would you do there for me?
The issue with them right now is they're really inconsistent with it. That's my biggest issue, honestly.
I agree with you with that one, yes.
They're like, okay, this game's going to be it, but not this game. And it's like, pick one. But I do think that they need to take this initiative seriously if they're going to do it. Like, I want to see something like, if they're gonna do cross-buy, they should be cross-play.
Mm-hmm.
Follow that kind of rule. If the game's gonna be cross-buy, it should be cross-play as well.
Okay. Do you think in a cross-play in the sense of just doing pure on streaming, or would you say cross-play as in you download to that system?
As in, like, people on PC can play with the Xbox people.
Okay. I got you. Yeah. I mean, I thought about, like, what ways can you actually improve it, or maybe not make somebody, feel that, hey, your purchase of a Xbox is going to be obsolete at this point because you can just hop over and purchase on the PC. Of course, some of the games that are going to be running, obviously they're going to look much better on the PC, especially if you have a really good rig and everything. I think the one advantage that the Xbox One X does come out is, and I've talked to several PC gamers, and a lot of people could disagree with the statement about it, or who knows. For the pricing, it's actually not bad for what you'll end up getting, and that's just starting out, of course. Down the line, you'll end up being able to get better PCs, within the year after purchasing the Xbox One or the Xbox One X that would do something a little bit more, robustly. I would say that it's really going to be dependent on how quickly they're willing to move the pricing of the Xbox One X, because they're already taking a hit once it comes out. They're not making any sort of profit off of this. So I think it's all going to depend on how quickly they are willing to move the price from that $500 price point to continue to make the Xbox One X worthwhile, or even for PlayStation with PlayStation Now, moving that dial of the price point down so that people are more willing to keep it on the PlayStation rather than just hop over their PC and do it. Now, of course, it's a little bit different for PlayStation because this is just a complete service. It's almost like a Netflix-like thing where you pay per month. You can, play these games and everything, and you could do it on the PlayStation or you could do it on, your PC. And hell, there's even some TVs that actually have this installed into it. Last I heard. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course.
No, they drop support. They dropped
They
support.
dropped support on PC on the TV.
Earlier this year with PlayStation Now, Sony decided they're dropping support for everything other than PlayStation 4 and PC. All the TVs, all PS3s, everything.
Especially for a service, which is to me, for this is actually news to me because I guess I just don't keep up with it enough. But it's kind of odd, because whenever I look at that, it's a complete service. It's not like I spent $50 or $60 and you get one game. This is a service you pay just like Netflix, and now you're gonna cut out potential customers because maybe they didn't want to go buy a PlayStation 4, but they also don't want to go sit on their PC to go game because they'd rather be on their couch. And despite what a lot of PC gamers say, not everybody's going to take the time to go hardwire all of their stuff to get the PC running to their, TV in the living room. That's kind of odd. Now I'm glad you brought that to my attention.
Yeah, they changed that earlier this year. So that was, what was that? I remember that was back when Sniper Elite 4 was coming out. I think that's about right.
Okay. Yeah, we got several games that are coming out. Of course, my favorite game of all time right now, Ark Survival Evolved, is going to be a play anywhere title, so people will be able to hop on their PCs. Yeah, once it releases, which August 8th, of course. I love dropping things, about Ark. But once it releases, obviously, anybody who's already purchased it, they'll have it automatically over on the Windows 10. Yeah, but you are 100% correct because what is it? Halo 5 is not part of this, but we have Gears of War 4. Didn't they just move? What was it? The Master Chief Collection just moved to be able to be played on PC?
I'm not sure.
I could be wrong about that. I could have saw a bad rumor about it, but I thought that one of the Halo games did move over.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
But yeah, so you have Gears of War 4 that is, play anywhere, but Halo 5 is not. Why would we do that? Why would one of them be available but not the other? And of course, it really sucks for Microsoft because, the first parties that they're putting out, they're not putting out a whole lot of them at a time. There are some exclusive stuff, but there's not a whole lot of big headlining titles that come out all at once. So
maybe they feel like some of the games that they're not making able to play on the PC won't be as popular on the PC as they are on console.
Fair enough.
I'm not sure, but I feel like I would like Halo is one of those games I would rather play on the console, like just on the console, and then something like Gears I would play on both.
What about for other publishers? Do you think that would be a good route to go? Is buy the game once and you buy it cross buy?
I guess it would depend on like the game itself and the play style, and then whether or not they want it on the PC or if it's playable on the PC.
True enough.
That's I don't know. I don't know how other publishers would feel about that, honestly, because it's not another sale. Like, I get it.
Do you think that it would be encouragement though to get people who wouldn't have purchased it before to be like, oh well, I can just play this anywhere I want, and then be more willing to drop down the money? Because already on consoles, despite gamers not realizing this, whenever you do the game sharing and people who are faithful to it, and there's nothing wrong with it because the system being used exactly how the system was designed for and everything. But really, for gamers, we essentially cut out half of the sales that potentially would have gone to the publisher, because if you're sharing with somebody, only one person needs to purchase it rather than both people purchase it. That's the whole purpose of it. So do you think that maybe it might move the needle?
I mean, there's other games that have done that version. We haven't heard a lot about those sales necessarily. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Play Anywhere is going to help boost sales or anything. Right now, I would say it might hurt it, but not significant numbers.
Yeah, I see quite often there's a lot of people that are like, oh, they're really upset about something being crossplay, which I don't know. I guess I get confused by it, but I just got a completely different train of thoughts behind it.
I mean, I wish with crossplay, like I want like there to be an option for that kind of thing, as long as the game could support it. As
Right.
long as it's not going to be a huge disadvantage. But yeah.
I mean, I could see it going either way. Like, I can definitely see Dizzy's side and I can see Anchor's side. So, I don't know. That's a tough one.
I guess it'll come down to morality versus the bottom dollar, regardless. Because morality wise, I think that it is really good for the consumer, but it also doesn't make them their bottom dollar. And I mean, this is a business after all, so I don't know if they're willing to take that cut on the loss, or or do something that maybe might be a something that fans would enjoy. Because I think one of the things I was actually thinking this morning, whenever the news about which it's been a couple of days, but The Sims 4, later on this year is going to end up dropping on console. I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I really wish there was a way that I could trade in my PC version of the game, or if the PC version would just go over to my Xbox, because I got it for my girlfriend and she has played it maybe twice. Mainly is because we never remember my Origin account login information, so she's just tired of logging in all the time. But I know that she wants to play the game, and I was like, man, this would be an excellent opportunity. I'll get that for her around then. And then I look over and I see the case for the PC. I'm like, damn, I already bought this once. Now I'm going to have to buy it twice. So I can see where it definitely would have benefited me out of this and everything. Maybe that's where part of my selfishness is coming. It's like, man, that would have been nice. So do we have any last words about the whole crossplay, or any last thoughts on it?
I don't have anything.
Yeah,
No?
I think I'm pretty good.
Right on. So there you have it. We don't have like a really hard, solid answer for anybody, but just a couple ideas to kick around and everything. So, but we are going to go ahead and wrap things up, and we're going to let Anchor be able to get back to what Anchor was going to do before we kind of like lassoed him in here and held him down in a chair to do this with us. So, Anchor, if you want to go ahead and give out all of your stuff and everything, and what you're doing, anything you have coming up, give all them shout outs.
Oh, yeah, my name's Anchorman V2. You can find me on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever platform. It's always Anchorman V2. You can find me on there. We do our shows on Mondays, and we do our show on Thursdays over at the Inner Circle Network. And if you go, we'd appreciate if you go take a look. Well, all I'm going to say. So. Anyway,
right on,
thanks.
right on. Yeah, definitely do please go over there. I know that we run Playback Gaming over here, but do go look over and support the Inner Circle Network. A lot of great writers over there, a lot of great people. Kal-El is one of my close friends and everything. He does a super pod shots on Tuesdays, correct?
His super pod shots are kind of like every other week. Right now, his internet's out, so it's just not.
Yeah, I know. Right now his internet's out. I've been getting the messages saying like, "Hey, man, it's like I can't get on Arc right now. I can't do this," because we do Tribe together and everything as far as that goes. So, be sure do check out the Inner Circle Network. Again, we're actually going to link it down in the description below and everything, and as well as all of Anchorman's. Panda, would you want to send us off?
My name is Panda.
Hi,
you can
Panda.
follow me. You can follow me at FSPANDA FTW, or FS Panda, Fun Size Panda for the win. It's the same on Twitter, YouTube. I'm gonna start trying to stream more on Twitch. If I can
Sorry,
find the time.
are you doing Twitch more, or are you going to be doing Mixer?
Right now I've only been doing Twitch.
Okay.
I mean, I'll try Mixer, but I think Twitch is a little bit. I mean, I haven't tried Mixer, so I don't know if it's easier, but right now Twitch is easier because I know it and I'm used to it. But yeah, I'm gonna try to start streaming a little bit more. You never know, I could end up on Mixer. I'm also on Xbox, the same thing. But yeah, those are all my tags and everything.
Right on, right on. I think one last shout out. Make sure that everybody does tune in every single Sunday at 1 o'clock to the Iron Lords podcast. Join the round table is Cognito and company. They all go through all the topics. I don't know what their topics are this week. I know that they had a lot of stuff going on last week. I was on was it about 2-3 weeks ago? Anchor, you've been part of that, correct?
Oh yeah,
I know you've been on.
Good fun
really
times.
Awesome,
yeah.
Really awesome podcast. Probably one of the best ones that people aren't watching right now. So shout out to them.
Cognito in the chat.
per use this late. Yeah, that's what I said. Who is this? He's we found Anchorman just hanging out by himself and everything. We kind of, this is after hours. We bought him a few
help,
booze.
Help, but hold me against my will.
Right on, right on. Of course, I'm iDizzy81. You can find me at Twitter. Likewise, Twitch or Mixer or wherever, Xbox. I probably won't add anybody on Xbox just because I'm so weird whenever it comes to the whole ARC thing. You can't trust people. You can't. You just can't do it. But definitely, go ahead and follow that. Of course, playbackgaming.net. And thank everybody for tuning in. And we are out of here. Ciao.